Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I'm using Shortcuts a lot for it happens to be the Pro version, but it won't make any difference whether it's the Pro you're using or the standard version. And I'm going all googly eyed. No, I'm not going mad. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Ta-da! There we go. I know you can buy the eyes like this, but it's just a little bit of fun, and I just thought it would be a good idea to see if it worked. And it does. So after a lot of fiddling yesterday, I have to confess. So that's what we are trying to do. So what I've done on the right hand side here, as you can tell, I've got like the square version of it, which I've just shown you the photographs of. And I want to tell you how to actually do it so that you can alter the shape to whatever shape you actually want to do, but the process of actually cutting it out and putting it together, the easiest way that I have found so far, put it this way. Now, all these shapes are very, very easy. If you've used Shortcuts or any other design software, you'll know how to do the shapes. And this one, the square one, is designed to be a card. So I have the card base, we have the card front, we have some various bits for the front of the card. There is a sentiment on here, but you don't have to have a sentiment on here. And in case you're wondering how I get the sentiment to curve, all I do, I'll just do a quick hello for you. All right, so I select it, I go to the effects and I choose wrapper. And as you can see at the moment it's going the wrong way round. What I need is to make the top diameter smaller. Sorry, smaller, not bigger. Get it right, girl. There we go. And to make the bottom diameter larger if I so wish. So that's how you get it to curve, all right? So nothing very difficult in that. And it's easier probably than typing on a curve shape and then trying to make it match what you've done. So that's the way I do it. Now you notice I've got 3 of these things cut out first of all. So we know that's the top one. This one here is the foam that you need to cut out for the middle layer. And this one is a backing, because if, for example, you have a patterned card here and you don't put a backing on and you put that directly on the card, not only is it more difficult to actually do it that way, but you will be able to see your backing through the eyes there, and you don't want that. So that is a backing. Now, the other thing that isn't easily apparent from this, so this is why I'm explaining it for you. This foam bit here is cut out of craft foam, but before you cut it out, if you want to make life easier for yourself, cover one side of the foam with double-sided tape. Completely cover it. And then when you cut through it, cut through the tape and the foam. Now, I have tried it with double-sided tape on both sides, but that tends to be something that causes a bit more of a problem because of the adhesive of the tape. I must admit, I've got a fairly thick adhesive tape double-sided tape. So maybe it's just my particular tape, but I found it only really works for me with the one layer covered in the adhesive, okay? But that does mean that you have no fiddling around afterwards in trying to glue something on to one side. You've got at least one side covered with the tape. The little piece here is to be cut out of double-sided tape only, and there's a very good reason for that. I certainly found that not all glues are equal when it comes to adhering cellophane, for example, onto craft foam. And I wasn't very happy with the results, and it's far more difficult to glue something like that without getting glue on the cellophane, and that doesn't look very clever. So if you put some double-sided tape down onto a non-stick backing, I tend to save the paper, if I've got any, I tend to save the paper from my vinyls, the vinyl backing, and you can put it on that, and then you can cut it out. So you cut it out with the holes. So basically, the way you make it up is you start with the front. If you're writing a sentiment, then you can use the pen tool to do the sentiment. I mean, how you do these bits is entirely up to you. I cut them out of separate pieces. You could just do a print and cut, whatever you like to do. So you start with this, you turn it over and you're working on the reverse of it. So the first thing that you need to do is to put down some cellophane or acetate or whatever it is behind these holes. Now the easiest way I found to do that was to cut this out of double-sided tape, to then peel off the backing and put it onto my cellophane or acetate, and then to take the other side of the backing off and stick it over here. Job done. Then you need to put down your foam layer. Now I chose to use the adhesive side, so I peeled off the backing tape and put the foam layer down on top of that, so everything is contained. Anything that you put in these holes will then be contained. So you then need to put in your eyes. Now make sure when you put in the eyes that you put them in so that the pupils will be in the front, if you see what I mean. You need to adhere the pupils to the irises, unless you want to make them really strange and have them separate. And then you need to turn them over so that the black bit is on the bottom and the blue bit is over that, if you see what I mean, and put it in the holes. And then you can put the adhesive around here and put your backing plate on. And then all you have to do is adhere it to your card, whatever it is you decide to do, and decorate the front of it however it is you wish to decorate it. Job done. Okay, so this one works in a similar way, but this one is designed to be an ornament. And that means that you want it to look the same on both sides. So basically we have a front, we have a back, and we have a middle. There is a sellotape panel. Now you notice I've changed the shape because if I were to put the oblong one up here, it would go outside of the shape and that wouldn't be so clever. So I did make it a different shape. And you will have to, if you're making a double-sided one of these, you'll have to make 2 of those so that you can adhere the film on the other side of your foam as well. So obviously, if this is going to have a backing on it, you don't need it. Whereas this one, if you're going to be looking through it, you've got holes on all the sides and you need another piece of acetate or cellophane or whatever in the back. Now I haven't decorated these in any way, but my intention was to give you the idea, so you can choose to decorate them as you wish. You can have Santa hats and beards on them, you could have scarves and woolly hats and all sorts of things. But basically that is how you devise the file. Just make sure that if you do this and you change the shape, that you line up the eyes so they're in the correct place, and that you then make a true duplicate. If you change the size, for example, if you change the size of the foam lining, maybe you decide you want it a little smaller. If I just do that and then do this, you can see there's a problem because the foam lining, the holes now in that are smaller than the ones on the front. So you can't do that. You have to do it by making a new shape entirely. So how do you actually do that? What you can do is you can copy this, you can paste it, so you've got the same one, okay? Break it apart like so, and make sure those are grouped together and remove them. Now I'm going to exaggerate the size of this, okay? I'm going to exaggerate it a bit, but cut it down in size. Then you would need to make these so that they are centered horizontally. So we need to move it like so. Okay. And then we would take these, we would line them up with that, and then we would move them over because you need them to be on the same plane. And then you can simply make sure that they are centered vertically, and then you would just exclude them if you want to bother. It doesn't make much difference whether you do or not. But that's how you make that foam piece smaller if you want to do that. You do the same with that if that's what you wanted to do. I've made it so that the foam piece is the same size as the front because I did it making the foam piece smaller and I wasn't entirely happy with the result, because if you're going to actually do it as a card, for example, and you're going to post it, then the edges of the card just around here could get bent where there's no foam supporting it. Okay, so that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. There's a couple that I did. Spot the mistake. I forgot to colour the eyes on that one before I sealed it shut. And I was thinking, is something not right? What is it? And it took me a little while to realise what I'd done. So there we go. This one, you can see a faint shadow here. This is where I tried a different approach. And instead of putting a full backing on, I was doing a partial backing to cover the pattern underneath. And that didn't work because it showed as well. So I've made the mistake so you don't have to bother. You can save your materials. Okay, so that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you another time. Take care. Bye bye.